Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDO 44 coming to another video. All right, so I just saw highlights of the Pelicans and um, who they go up against? Gosh, my brain is terrible. But yeah, it was the Pelican game, and what stood out to me, honestly, in just watching them play, because that was really all I was really paying attention to be completely honest with you, was Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy, Trey Murphy, Trey Murphy, and I told everybody as soon as I did homework on the Pelicans that it was very clear to me that Trey Murphy was a special player and that his draft stock didn't make any sense to me um, at all. At all. When I look at him, especially what I've seen starting this preseason and throughout Summer League and throughout the homework and everything, I'm telling you, this looks like the next great shooter in this league. And this draft has a couple guys who look like they could be the next great shooter in this league. Don't get it twisted. But Trey Murphy is different, man. I get Middleton from him. I get Klay Thompson from him. Uh, a lot of people have said Mikal Bridges, but longer. This dude, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, I do think he's going to be one of the top players that came out of this draft. I think he'll be a top player. Now, I know that this is one of the deepest drafts. The prospects in this draft are overwhelming. He is one of the most impressive ones already. He was during the combine when they were talking about his shooting percentages and his length. Um, I watched his draft scouting video that he did with ESPN where he sat down uh, with their scout dude. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but they just broke down the game, and I realized from jump this is a superior basketball mind. This is not just a shooter. He has, and this is just my opinion, Tim Duncan qualities to his energy. I don't know if it's just me watching him talk about the game. I don't know what it is, but he has a certain level of balance to who he presents himself to be as a basketball person. When he speaks about basketball, he knows the game, he knows lingo, and he understands different things and nuances well beyond his years. His draft stock makes no sense at all. It has to be politics. Anybody that looks at this kid play knows that he's a top 10 pick in this draft. I'm sorry, there's a lot of guys I like in this draft. They're amazing, but they're not going to be the type of shooter that he is. They're just not. They're not. And I know that you don't put too much value on shooting. I'm the guy that doesn't put as much value on shooting as I should. But when a guy comes out looking like he's Klay Thompson, literally looking like he's shooting like Klay Thompson, in fact, he's shooting better than Klay Thompson, to be honest with you. When Klay was his age coming out into the league, he didn't shoot like this. He didn't shoot like this. This is a different level of shooter. I'm telling everybody because I've seen a lot of shooters. I've seen a lot of basketball in my life. And, I remember a guy by the name of Peja Stojakovic. This guy reminds me of that. Um, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is he can put the ball on the floor. He can do some things that you need him to do. Now, I want to see him get better defensively. I got on here and I said he's better than BI. When he develops into his peak, I think he'll be better than BI's peak. But there's some things that he does not do that BI does extremely well, and that's creating for others. Luke Walton did a fantastic job putting the ball in BI's hands from jump. So he made BI a point guard, and BI has certain skills naturally as a one-on-one player that Trey Murphy's, that's not his game. But Trey Murphy's handle is a hell of a lot better than people think. Just in watching him for the Pelicans, they have him as a catch-and-shoot player, and he's perfected that early in his life. He's already an excellent catch-and-shoot player. But what he also has, and I see it in the highlights, is an ability to improvise quickly with his dribble. If a guy's swiping at him, he can go behind his back and do all types of different things. His reactionary, on-the-fly, whatever you call that ability, it's very strong in this dude as well. So you even saw a little bit of that in the highlights today. He had hit like 5 or 6 threes. They finally ran him off the block. He put it on the floor, did a little nice little Euro step, and ended up jamming it home with two hands. That's another thing that he does very well. So it's like you realize that not only is this guy able to do things and shoot the ball, but he can also help you out in other areas. And if he can turn into an elite defender, my head keeps telling me Klay Thompson, Klay Thompson, Klay Thompson, because that's exactly who his ceiling looks like. He looks like he's one of those type of guys who's gonna, if he could just stay healthy, of course, continue to work on whatever he needs to work on as he grows. His natural ability is going to turn him into a legendary shooter, man. I see it already. I see it. He's going to turn into one of them legends. It's a lot of different things that has to happen in order for that to pan out over years. Like I said, a lot of things guys have to do to accomplish great things. But when a guy comes out the womb able to do certain things and you can just see it out the gate, and somebody has that it factor, as they say, he has that it factor. It's there. It's there, man. I think of a guy also like Bradley Beal who could just catch and shoot for no reason forever. Think about all these great shooters. A guy that comes to mind like Duncan Robinson. He got some Duncan Robinson in him. Anybody that you could think of that can shoot way above natural percentages from all three levels. Trey's one of them dudes, man. He's one of them dudes. And so that's why I've been trying to just kind of educate everybody who follows me on this particular player, because I know he's on the Pelicans. Nobody's watching the Pelicans like that. From the outside looking in, if you don't do any homework on the Pelicans, they look like a team that's looking like they're heading in the wrong direction. But once you start picking apart what they've done over the last couple of years with some of their forwards, I didn't even talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. This too went completely off tonight as well. Not surprised, because I told everybody a few days ago when I was talking about him, Pelicans just need to set aside his money right away. I already seen enough from him a long time ago. He's a two-way player that can do pretty much anything. Pretty much anything. His playmaking tonight took his game to another level as well. Some of the plays he was making, some of the passes. Nickeil Alexander-Walker upside is probably as high as Shay's, to be honest with you. Probably as high as his cousin. So at this point, the Pelicans have way more talent than the field is aware of. The teams that are most sexy out there in terms of young teams, obviously, you look at Houston Rockets. You think about the Cleveland Cavaliers. You think about the Toronto Raptors, Orlando Magic, Atlanta Hawks. There's a lot of teams that have fantastic young cores. San Antonio, Minnesota. Definitely consider these Pelicans. Definitely consider these Pelicans. Because they got all kinds of dudes. All kinds. And of course, I didn't even mention Zion. So yeah. I do think that this team is going to be just fine. The things that they were lacking these last couple years, they have in abundance. And, the sky is the limit, is complete limit now that they have this type of shooting on their roster. And the type of youth that they have, all they got to do is just keep it together, let it grow, balance their cap, don't do anything crazy. I think the Pelicans could be out of this world in 5 years' time. I mean, it's going to take time because they're youngsters, and there is a good competition of young teams, as I've already described. So as they get better, so will these other teams as well. It's no guarantee that any of these teams are going to run away with the field. It's just too much young talent. But what I can say is the New Orleans Pelicans are in the mix, and they will remain in the mix so long as they keep that core together that they've just put together. So, man, yeah, it's a lot to be excited about there. A lot to be excited about. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to say, man. There's other things as well. I'm kind of disappointed in myself for not even remembering who the Pelicans played against, but that's kind of how this has gone for me. I just really zero in on the teams that I'm interested in. Sometimes I was like that when I was a kid too. I usually didn't even care about who the Lakers were playing. I just know we were playing against an opponent, and I watched us the whole time. That's kind of how I used the game, how I watched the game rather as a kid. But when I was studying these highlights, I went in with intent. Now the next game I'm going to be watching right now, highlights of, is the Atlanta Hawk game. I'm going to be looking to see what's going on with them. because they have so much talent as well, and young talent. And as I've said, I've gone on record, and I will continue to say that to me they look like the deepest team in all of basketball. I really believe that. They don't have the heaviest top. They don't have the starriest of stars, but 1 through 15, they have the most quality players in the entire NBA. Uh, so the ceiling for the Atlanta Hawks is as high as it can go. I think they're going to catch some people off guard, even though they made the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think people are prepared for the upgrades in talent that they're going to have this year. Bringing back Hunter, bringing in Johnson, uh, having the new point guard that they have down there. They got so many different pieces. Reddish is healthy, ready to go. I mean, it just goes on and on and on for that particular team. And the players that they have that are older, snipers, sharpshooters, players that can do things that they need them to do. So, I look at the Nets, I look at Chicago, I look at Miami, and I really do think that the East is so much stronger than it's been, and probably since Michael Jordan played. Honestly, this is the tightest Eastern Conference I may have ever seen. So, it's super exciting, man. Super exciting. I think as I was trying to get to the point, I think Atlanta probably is the best team in the East, not named Milwaukee, not named the Nets. I really believe that. I love Chicago, though. I love what Chicago has. And Boston has grown on me greatly because of how heavy their top actually is, coupled with the fantastic nature of their bench. But more so about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. If they can carry the load and be superstars this year, then they can make sure that the Boston Celtics are in the mix. But they're going to go as far as they take them, I believe. So, yeah, man, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to check out these highlights, and if there's some more to say, I'll hop back on here. Thank y'all for watching. My name is Media44. Oh, one more thing. I mentioned Dallas and Green. Earlier in a previous video, I was saying that I think Josh Green is going to be have a chance to get Rookie of the Year. He ain't a rookie. I made the mistake of forgetting that he was drafted in the previous year. So that's what that was. But nevertheless, he's going to have a huge role on the Dallas Mavericks, I believe, this year, because they're just going to need a little more than what they have on their bench right now. They're a bit shallow, and if he's going to be a player that they've drafted that high, then I'd imagine, especially since it's year 2, they're going to work him into the equation. So I didn't get him mixed up with Jalen Green in Houston. I didn't know. I know there is a guy by the name of Josh Green in Dallas that they drafted very high last year, or middle of the pack first round lottery, and I'm expecting that he's going to get a much bigger role with the Dallas Mavericks this year. So they got some people in place, though. Jalen Brunson, Hardaway, obviously Bullock is there too. So it's not as open as I made it seem in my head. But I do believe that he's going to take a step forward. Also, there is hope. There is hope that Jalen Smith of the Phoenix Suns, power forward, will play finally. I got so upset about that in the finals last year because I felt like they didn't have a power forward, and they had drafted him in the lottery that same year. Give him a shot, see what he can do, and they just didn't. So I thought they dropped the ball there, and I thought if they would have played him, maybe they could have extended the series if he would have played well and put his name on the map and give him some finals experience. And I just thought they failed to do all three. So he did play today, Summer League, and he's showing what he can do. And he's a powerful player. That's what I know about Jalen Smith. And he can do more things than I thought. He could shoot a little bit, and I didn't know he could stretch the floor some. So I'm looking for him to dominate one day. He and Ayton play off each other very well in theory, but seeing as how they have Ayton issues and are not extending him right now, and it looks like that situation could go many different directions. I think Jalen Smith is probably going to have to step into a bigger role over the next several years, depending on what happens with Ayton. So keep an eye on Jalen Smith. And there are about 5 guys named Jalen that just entered the league. They're all very, very, very talented. So let's keep an eye on all the Jalens, man. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.